Oh, I see.
Eye.
And your eyes are so pretty. Eyelashes. Eyebrow. Can you show me your
Ears.
eyebrow? Let's see your eyebrow.
Eyebrow right here.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Cranio family vlog. This month is Craniofacial Acceptance Month, and for every day of the month of September, we are tackling a question as cranio parents to try to open your eyes to the world of craniosynostosis. Today's question is, what is it like to be in recovery in the PICU?
And as you can tell, these questions are getting a little bit heavier, a little bit more intensive when it comes to our experiences and just some of the struggle. Just being real. It's not always easy. It's not always light. We try to make it so that it's a little bit easier to listen to, but these few days will be a little bit heavier. Recovery is rough, especially if you are not prepared ahead of time for it. Side piece of advice again, learn as much as you can ahead of time. Not necessarily about the details of what is going to happen to your child, but how you can best take care of them and what they will be like afterward. It makes a very big difference. Specifically, our case with Zoe, when we first saw her coming back, she was still pretty groggy, just waking up. Each time it's similar. You start to recognize a pattern once you go through it once or twice, and swelling begins. You can tell it's your child. You will always tell it's your child, but they look different. And depending on if you have the FOA, a CVR, endoscopic, the severity of that difference will vary. But needless to say, your child will look different, and that element really scared me ahead of time. But I was glad I knew it, because I was kind of ready to just jump in to see her and to be with her after those many hours of just waiting. And I expected her to look different, and she did. The swelling got worse over the next 24 hours, which I had known ahead of time again, so that helped me to know to expect that, and so I didn't have to be overly worried about it. But it didn't really make the process easy. To see your child that way, nobody is ever really ready for it. I mean, you see stitches across the skull, you see monitors and cords, and most of them will come back in the hospital gown, and so they don't really have their identity with, clothes and things that you tend to associate with your own kids. And so there's just a very hospital-y feeling. I don't even know how to fully describe it, but it's easy to see a distance and to want to bridge that distance, to want to just be there and pick them up and, just race away like, okay, we don't have to be here anymore. But the truth is, for a lot of those procedures, the kids do still need to stay in the PICU for a few days. And it's hard, it's draining. You want to be there every second of that you can. You don't want to miss anything. You want to make sure that once they start eating, that they're eating enough and sleeping, and as that mom, everything just kind of kicks into overdrive, almost like the newborn status again, where you just want to make sure everything is happening. And for me, the hardest part was just letting go, and even stepping away for a few minutes to get a meal, to get a shower, to whatever I needed to take care of myself, so that when Zoe was awake, I could take care of her. And it definitely wasn't just me. Michael was there. We had family there, and so we were all kind of taking shifts as far as watching Zoe and watching David when he came around as well. But I think that that's kind of, in a nutshell, what my experience has been like. It's almost like having a newborn all over again as far as need, and you just want to be there and hold them and have them feel comfortable, all the while knowing that for the most part they aren't very comfortable and they really just want to go home. And I think there's this huge rejoicing period, at least for us. It probably is the same for many hospital parents, let alone Cranio parents. Those discharge papers, man, as soon as you see them, it's just like head for that door, grab the wheelchair and just start running, and you just want to head back home. And there's just such a peace of mind once you get there. And it doesn't even matter so much. Our hospitals have been wonderful. Our teams have been wonderful. It's not to say that we haven't had any bad experiences specifically with any of it. But it's a very stressful, trying, exhausting time, and it just gets expanded as long as you're in that hospital room. And so it is rough. You want to plan ahead for all of that.
There's a lot of time for schedules, a lot of time where family is of huge help. For all of Zoe's surgeries, I take a very active role because of my background, my education, my life experiences, but because I'm also a dad, and I believe that there's a very glaring gap in what is expected from dads in today's society versus what I think is expected from dads in today's society. And I am not the one who gets to go anywhere. I take the full responsibility of being in that room, with the exception of maybe getting a few minutes out to get a shower or taking a quick walk around the ward just to stretch my legs. But I'm there every single night, sleeping next to her, listening to the monitor, talking to the nurses when they come in for their hourly or every other hour check, checking medications, talking about swelling, looking for the fluid discharge from the suture, from the stitches. And I'm just very hands-on as they will let me. And I think that the huge saving grace is, for the kind of dad that I am, we are at an absolutely fantastic care center. The nurses and doctors of the PICU staff at VCU is above and beyond perfect for us. It's always a little shocking for the multiple surgeries that we've had when we see the same nurse who knows us by name, who doesn't have to ask us questions, who knows how involved we like to be. And I think that a lot of that preparation and involving how involved we're going to be comes from being prepared for the long haul. From the very first surgery, we didn't know quite what to expect. Zoe's doctor is fantastic at telling us, but then there's the aspect of experiencing it. And we had lots of questions, and it's sad to say that because of Zoe's life, I know when my daughter's sleeping based on what her heart rate is, because I can hear it on the monitor, and that lets me breathe a little easier, and I can tell when she's starting to wake up because of what happens with her breathing and her heart rate, and I can tell when she's having a little bit of trouble breathing before the pulse ox will pick up on it based on what I'm hearing with her heart rate and her respirations. And that's just because of the kind of dad that I am. I try to be as attuned as possible because I want to be there when those eyes are able to open, and to lean over the side of the bed if I have to, if she's all hooked up to machines, and let her feel this beard, which is the reason that I have a beard, because the eyes swell shut, and there's a period of a few hours to a day or so that your baby can't see. And at a very young age, months, I had a little bit of a scruff, and Zoe just played with it. It would calm her. And so I talked to Katie about it. She said go for it. She likes the beard. Zoe likes the beard, so it's never going anywhere. And I just started growing, and I try to keep it clean for work and whatnot. But being able to have something that's familiar for her that she can reach out and grab when she is writhing in pain because the medications aren't cutting it is what being a dad's all about. And going through this time in the PICU is not as short-term exhausting, but man, it wears you out. I don't really sleep while she's in the PICU. I think for one surgery I was basically told to leave and go take a shower and take a nap, and it was the most nightmarish sleep I've had in my life. But I did sleep, and it was one of the few times I actually slept while Zoe was in the PICU, because I just rather be there. But Katie's absolutely right. Prepare for the long haul. Prepare for days. Take clothes that you're comfortable in. take toiletries. Make sure that's the stuff that you have, but don't take a lot to completely distract you, because the most important thing you can do while you're in that room in that PICU with your son or daughter as they're recovering from a craniosurgery is being there, is talking to them, is reading to them, is putting one of their favorite movies, which for Zoe is Charlie Brown's Christmas. It's a great movie, but she loves it, and we watch it 30 or 40 times in 3 or 4 days, and it just find the things that soothe your child and do them. Be a parent. Ask questions of the doctors. Get informed. Know what to expect by talking to the doctors. If you have questions, ask them. That's what they're there for. If you aren't sure why a doctor or nurse is doing something, talk to them about it. These people are so amazingly trained and so skilled at their jobs. They are used to having to explain it as they do it, and they can do it and explain it so well so anybody can understand it. But all in all, recovering the PICU, it's a step. It's a step towards going home. It's a step towards normalcy, however long that normalcy may be. Sometimes it's months. Right now we're in a period where it's been years. We don't know when her next surgery is going to be, but we know there are more. But I look forward to setting up camp in the blue pleather reclinable chairs and sitting right next to my daughter and watching Charlie Brown's Christmas often.
And so with that, you have learned a little bit more about our family especially, but what it looks like to have to be going through recovery within the PICU and in the hospital after procedures. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you would like to hear a little bit more about our journey, about posts that we have made, especially post-surgery, we have quite a few different blogs that we've posted about recovery. Head over to our blog. It's craniofamilyblog.com, and go ahead and check it out. Thanks so much for stopping by. We will see you tomorrow with another Cranio video.